Hey there, I'm Heather Farmer, and today on Boston Girl Bakes, we are making lemon brownies. Now, these are not obviously your traditional brownies. We're not using cocoa powder, but they still have that texture that you love about a brownie, that kind of fudgy chewiness. But we're using fresh lemon juice and lemon zest, and instead of regular chocolate, we're gonna be using white chocolate. Now, to start, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're gonna line an 8 by 8 inch square baking pan. I've greased and lined mine with parchment paper, and I'm just using some binder clips right now to hold back the parchment when I go to pour the batter in, and of course I'll remove those before they go into the oven. You could use a 9 by 9 inch square pan. You would just want to reduce the baking time a few minutes, and I also recommend a metal baking pan. That's going to get you a really great even baking and get you that fudgy, chewy texture that you're looking for. If you are using a glass baking pan, you're going to want to increase the baking time by about 5 minutes. To start, we're going to combine some white chocolate. I have here 6 ounces of just chopped white chocolate. I do recommend a white chocolate baking bar as opposed to white chocolate chips, as they melt a lot more smoothly than the chocolate chips. We're going to combine that with 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And I've simply cubed the butter just so that it melts a little bit faster in the microwave. You could melt this again over like a double boiler or in a saucepan over low heat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and melt this in about 30-second intervals and stir in between so that I know that it hasn't burned. So this took about a minute for me in the microwave. I microwaved for 30 seconds, then took it out, gave it a stir, and then popped it back in for another 30 seconds. Every microwave though is different. So you simply stir that until everything is melted and smooth and combined. Once that's smooth and combined, you can set that aside and we'll start working on the rest of the ingredients. In a large mixing bowl, you're gonna combine 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And to that, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon zest, which was about the zest of 3 lemons for me. And all you're gonna do is take your hands and go ahead and rub the lemon zest into the sugar. This is gonna help release the oils of the lemon into the sugar and give you a really great lemon flavor. Once that is combined, you're gonna go ahead and add that melted white chocolate and butter mixture from before. Make sure to get all of it in the bowl. You simply stir that to combine. Oh, this smells so good already. Once you've stirred that together, you're gonna then add in 3 large room temperature eggs. You wanna make sure that they are at room temperature so they don't seize up that butter. So what I like to do is I place my eggs in a bowl of warm water for about 10 minutes and then simply wipe them off and they are ready to go. I'm also gonna add in just a little bit of vanilla extract for some a little extra flavor, about 1/2 teaspoon. And go ahead and stir that together. And what I love about these brownies is that you don't need a mixer for them. You can use just a spatula and a whisk. And they take like minutes to prepare. So if you're a fan of like lemon bars, I think you're really gonna love these. Once that's all stirred together, you're gonna go ahead and add in 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. I do recommend fresh lemon juice over bottled. I think it just has a better taste. And go ahead and stir that together, or you could use a whisk at this point. Once that's all stirred together, we're gonna go ahead and add in our flour and our salt. I'm adding in 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. I do always recommend weighing your flour using a kitchen scale. You're just gonna get much better results. There's no really guesswork there. If you are using measuring cups, you wanna make sure to stir the flour in the bag first as it tends to settle, and then spoon it into your measuring cup and give it a level. That's going to ensure that you have the right amount of flour. Too much flour is gonna end up with really kind of a cakey brownie texture as opposed to that fudgy texture that we're after. And I'm adding in just 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. That always helps to balance out any sweetness. And you'll notice that there's no baking powder or baking soda, which is gonna help to make for that fudgy texture. You're not gonna get any rise other than just a little bit of the air that you've worked into the batter. And simply stir that in. And the key to a really great texture on any brownie is to make sure not to overmix once the last of the dry ingredients have been stirred in. The more you stir, the more like glutinous it's going to become, which means you're going to end up with a really kind of tough texture, and that's not what we want. So just give it a last few stirs until you don't see any more pockets of that raw flour. It's going to be maybe a little on the lumpy side, and that's okay. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and put it into our pan. Go ahead and just spread the batter into your pan into an even layer. It's so good. It's got so much lemon flavor. Just spread that out. And if you are using binder clips, of course, make sure to remove those. So we're going to place these into the center of our oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. Now every oven is different, so I always recommend kind of checking the shorter end of the baking time, even maybe at 33 minutes. You want to make sure not to over bake these. The center may still look soft, and that's okay because they're going to continue to bake as they cool. So let's go ahead and bake some brownies. While the brownies are baking, we're gonna go ahead and make a lemon glaze to top them once they're cooled, which is just a really easy 2 ingredients. It's just powdered sugar and some fresh lemon juice. If you wanted, you could always add in some lemon zest or some vanilla extract. So I have here 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. If your powdered sugar is really lumpy, you could go ahead and sift it if you want. And I have here about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then simply just whisk that until smooth. Now, if you find that your glaze is on the thin side, you can add in a little bit more powdered sugar. If it's a little on the thick side, just thin it out with a little extra lemon juice, or you could even thin it out with a little bit of water if you've run out of lemon juice. And if yours is a little lumpy and you don't want to sift it, like I hate sifting, just whisk it a little bit more and it'll get smooth. And there you go. We'll top our brownies once they've come out of the oven. Once they're cooled, we'll top it with the lemon glaze. My lemon brownies have just finished baking. The top is still gonna feel a little on the soft side, and the edges should have a kind of a little just light golden brown color to them. We're gonna let these cool, and then I'm gonna top them with that lemon glaze we made earlier. Now that our lemon brownies have cooled, we can go ahead and glaze them. I'm just gonna let this harden for a few minutes before I go ahead and slice these and enjoy. The lemon glaze has had time to set up, so now it's time to cut and enjoy these. Chewy, full of lemon flavor. If you are a lemon fan, you're going to absolutely fall in love with these lemon brownies. I gotta take another bite, they're so good. They deserve a little happy dance. I hope you get a chance to try these lemon brownies, and don't forget to hit subscribe below so you never miss another baking video. And make sure to check out the rest of my easy brownie and bar recipes in this series. And until next time, happy baking.